Even though Meemaw's gambling plot from Season 1 was revived in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, the Young Sheldon spinoff should put this stale plot aside. Meemaw seemed to have changed by the end of Young Sheldon. Because of Georgie's limited role as an accomplice and Meemaw's advanced age, the two narrowly avoided going to jail after Sheldon and Georgie's grandmother was found operating an illegal gambling room with Georgie's assistance. Meemaw appeared to be prepared to give up her life of crime, but the experience still left her shaken. However, this turned out to be wishful thinking. Even though Season 2 of the spinoff would take Meemaw's story in a whole new direction, Season 1 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage showed that she had not changed at all despite her run-in with the law. If anything, the experience seemed to confirm her desire for running an illegal gambling organization, especially considering the amount of work she put into resurrecting her business in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Season 1. The time for this plan to end has finally arrived. Mandy learned that Meemaw was operating an illicit sportsbook that placed wagers on nearby high school athletic events in episode 14, a sportsbook and a breakup. Meemaw gave Mandy a piece of the action by encouraging her to place bets on a pager, but at this point, she was keeping this a secret from Dale. Georgie was concerned about the hazards involved, but Mandy was thrilled with the money. Given that Georgie had worked at Meemaw's casino for years without suffering any significant repercussions, Mandy believed she could easily brush off this threat. Dale broke up with Meemaw after learning of the deception, but at the end of a sportsbook and a breakup, he begged her to accept him back with tears in his eyes. After that, the Meemaw plot of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage mainly stalled until episode 19, Snitch vs. Deadbeat, when it became the focal point of a significant dispute between the Cooper and McAllister families. With her gambling plan, Meemaw put Georgie and Mandy through a lot. In Snitch vs. Deadbeat, she used Mandy to threaten her father Jim over his debt to Meemaw. Audrey, Mandy's mother, eventually found out about the debt and threw Meemaw's blackmail strategy in her face by threatening to report it to the authorities. The families then engaged in a full-scale conflict that ended with an awkward ceasefire when Georgie volunteered to settle Jim's debt on his own. The plot, which was stressful and nasty, revealed Meemaw's most mercenary side and demonstrated that she cared more about her own financial gain than her grandson's happiness or Georgie's marriage's success. Although this is not the only Young Sheldon character, Meemaw has a particularly significant problem with the Season 1 spin-off narrative feeling a little repetitious. The Missy plot in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Season 1 was essentially a rerun of her Young Sheldon Season 6 and 7 arcs, in which she went too far with her teenage rebellion, learned her lesson, and made amends with her family. However, this worked because Missy's behavior was inevitable after losing George Sr., and similar patterns of behavior are relatable among teenagers who are trying to figure out who they are in the world. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.